Well, this right here is what the city says vandals are just ripping apart. It's basically a backflow preventer. It's required by the state for all of the city's irrigation systems, and it stops bad water from flowing back into the system. But recently, the city say they've had their hands full just trying to fix these as soon as vandals destroy them. City crews have been called out to 14 parks in just a few days. Parks and Rec officials say vandals have been ripping apart this, a backflow preventer on the park's irrigation system. We're told those vandals have been stealing a valuable brass part of the valve, and Parks and Rec says once the thieves have made off with the parts, they're left trying to clean up the mess.
In addition to the vandalism itself, sometimes they might break a water main in the process, and so water goes everywhere in the park.
Talbert says it costs $300 to replace each one of these backflow preventers, which, if you do the math, means so far they're up to nearly $5,000 in repairs.
That instead of using resources to improve the parks, we're having to go fix stuff that already exists.
Talbert says most of the thieves have hit in the middle of the night and none of them have been caught. She says the best thing people who live and play around the parks can do to help is call the city anytime they see anything like this. And Parks and Rec says they have told police about the problem and asked officers to keep an eye out if they ever see anyone paying a little too much attention to this part of the irrigation system to try and put a stop to this recent crime wave at city parks. Reporting live from Williams Park, I'm Parrish.
Hey, Parrish, has the city come up with any other plan to try and prevent this vandalism from happening again?
Well, they told us they have been throwing around some possible solutions, one of which would be to build a cage or another type of structure over here to protect this part of the irrigation system. But they say right now they're pretty swamped just trying to make sure all 14 parks that have been vandalized are back up and running. Back to you. Well, we're outside J.R. Viola Cleaners, where police say a suspected thief used a large rock to bust through the front door here sometime around midnight Thursday. Now, as you can tell by the fresh paint and some of the plastic still on the windows, the door already fixed. But earlier today, a clerk told us the break-in has affected the way the employees inside go about their daily business. Business is running smoothly again in J.R. Viola Cleaners. Just a day after Valerie Herrera says someone busted out the front door.
It was a square, like literally for him to come in. It was like literally a perfect square.
Herrera says that door was the only thing standing between the thief and about $100 in cash.
We keep our money in the register like for the morning people, so it'll be a little bit easier for her.
Herrera says the register is always locked, so she says the burglar must have used some kind of tool to break it open.
It's like that's all he was looking for. I mean, that's basically all. Everything else is the same.
But she says the thief didn't know the dry cleaners is protected by a silent alarm, and says by the time the suspect was making his getaway, officers were already on the scene. Police say they found 30-year-old Brian Demeter nearby and arrested him. Herrera says a month ago she started keeping the side door locked during business hours after someone broke into the salon next door.
Yeah, so hers in the front is just glass, and they took the whole register.
And after Thursday, she says she'll also be keeping the cash register empty at night. Herrera tells us only cash was taken during the break-in, but says police returned that as soon as they arrested Demeter. Now, the owner did have to pay to fix the door here, and he'll, of course, have to replace that broken cash register. Reporting live from the 11,000 block of Leopard, I'm Parrish. Police tell us a family was sitting here in this lot waiting while some relatives checked into a nearby condo. But officers say while that family sat here, a man walked up to them and claimed to be a cop. Police say a family visiting from out of town for the weekend was sitting here early Saturday morning when they were approached by a man wearing a shirt similar to this one, a black t-shirt that said police across the chest. Officers tell us the man asked the family if they needed any help and warned them it wasn't safe to be out in the area so late. Police say that man is 33-year-old Anthony Sotelo. Investigators say the family didn't believe that he was a cop and even asked him about the large tattoo on his neck. The family claims that's when Sotelo told them he was an undercover narcotics officer. Officers say Sotelo kept resting his hand on his belt as if he had a gun, and when the out-of-towners asked to see a badge, he left in his truck. But police say he wasn't gone for long. They tell us he drove back over later, this time wearing the orange shirt you see in this mugshot. Officers say Sotelo parked here near the abandoned bait shop and kept flashing his lights at the family still parked across the way. That's when we're told the family called the real police. Officers say when they first got here, Satilla's truck was nowhere around, but eventually they say he pulled back into the same bait stand parking lot. Police say Satilla denied everything and even gave them a fake name, but once they got his real one, they say they found out he had a warrant in Maverick County for felony DWI. Satilla was arrested on that warrant, plus he was charged with false identification as a police officer. Police tell us they were never able to find that black shirt that said police on it. They never found a gun either, but they believe Sotelo might have just been pretending the cell phone hooked on his belt was actually a firearm. Police also told us that he never asked the family for any money and didn't try and take anything, and at this point, they really don't know why he was pretending to be an officer. Reporting live from North Beach, I'm Parrish.
Parrish, what else did police have to say about this guy?
Well, they did want us to tell everyone that, of course, if you're ever approached by a police officer and you ask to see their badge, any real officer will, of course, show it to you right away. And if he's an undercover officer, he wouldn't be wearing a shirt advertising he's with police. They also wanted people to know if you're out on the roadway, you see flashing lights behind you, it's police policy to never pull drivers over while they're in an unmarked unit. Back to you.